Now let's move on to the recipes by tapping on the recipe button along the bottom. Here, you'll see a list of recipes organized by category. Some recipes belong to more than one category, so you may see a recipe more than once if you scroll through the list. Each recipe in this list has a button showing its nutrient density, which is calculated in a similar way as it is for foods, and tapping on it shows you nutrition facts for that recipe, which are calculated from food nutrition data. If you tap on one of these nutrients, it'll show you which ingredients in this recipe have the highest concentrations of that nutrient. You could use this feature to adjust recipes to make them healthier. The circle button shows how many ingredients needed by this recipe are unstocked. If you tap on it, a pop-up will show which ingredients are missing. Tap the calendar button to add a recipe to the calendar. If the recipe is on the calendar, the button will be darker. Another way to add recipes to the calendar is through the wizard in the calendar screen, which we'll go over later. You can search for recipes using only stocked foods, or recipes using nearly expired foods by tapping on these buttons. You can search for recipes by name using the search bar, and you can filter recipes by other criteria by tapping the filter button. Here, you can set filters to help you find recipes. You can turn on and off each filter, and your filter settings are not lost when you turn them off, making it convenient to try different combinations of filters without having to re-enter information every time. You can filter by the number of unstocked ingredients, and if you set this to 0, recipes using only stocked ingredients will be shown. You can filter by prep time, by recipe categories, by ingredient, and by ingredient categories. Tap on this icon to set the filters. As an example, let's ban recipes with dairy products and include recipes with vegetables. We would tap twice here to set it to ban dairy, and tap once here to set it to include vegetables. Tap on the eye icon to quickly see which filters are set. Turn on the filter and tap Done, and Meal-O-Matic will find the recipes that have no dairy and at least one vegetable. These three buttons are actually just shortcut buttons which set filters for you. Once you find an interesting recipe, tap on it to show its details. On this screen, you have the information needed to prepare the recipe, and if you tap on More Info or swipe left, you can bring up a page where you can take a photo, view or edit the recipe's description, notes, and categories. Recipes included with the app come from the Wikibooks cookbook, and you can tap on the link to open up the page in Safari. Tap Done or swipe right to get back to the main recipe page. Here you can view the ingredients and directions. The ingredients are laid out with the description on the left and the quantity on the right. This icon shows whether the ingredient is stocked. If green, it's stocked. If orange, it's not stocked. If it's yellow, then the ingredient is not stocked, but a substitute or a variant is. Edit ingredients in plain text by tapping on Edit. You can copy and paste from Safari or type directly. You should enter ingredients in this format with quantity first, then the units, then the ingredient description separated by spaces. To calculate nutrition for this recipe, each ingredient needs to be linked to a food in the database so that the correct nutrition data is used. Meal-O-Matic tries to do this for you, but you can increase its success by using names of foods as they are entered in the database. Let me show you what might happen if there's a typo. I've entered 1 cup of water, but misspelled water. We can see that Meal-O-Matic failed to find the correct food in the database for that ingredient, since the icon next to the ingredient is gray. In this case, you'll need to go back and re-edit the ingredient list, or you can tap on the ingredient, which will allow you to fine-tune it, and you'll need to select the correct food for this. From this screen, you can also convert amounts by selecting a new unit. If a density is not set, the volume units will be unavailable. You can create units specific to a certain ingredient in the Edit Food screen. Tapping on a step in the directions shows a pop-up with the ingredients needed in that step and their total amounts for the recipe. If the step has a time in it, you can start a timer for it from the pop-up. You can have multiple timers running at the same time. To see them, you'll need to go to the Utilities tab and tap on Timers. If you change the number of servings, you're given the option of scaling the ingredient amounts, and besides this, you can calculate the number of servings from the recipe's total weight, volume, or calorie content. Standard serving sizes in packaged foods typically use weight or volume, but if you need to track your calories, calculating serving sizes based on calories also makes sense, as then you can figure out the number of calories you're getting just by counting the number of servings you've had. The recipes included with this app have 200 calorie serving sizes, so if you need 2,000 calories a day, you should plan to eat 10 servings total. You can set the default serving size from the settings screen. From this menu, you can also add this recipe to the calendar or email it to your friends. If your friends have apps that can import MasterCook files like Meal-O-Matic does, then they'll be able to import the recipe directly into their app. From this menu, you can add a new recipe, edit categories, or import/export recipes. The only difference between editing recipe categories and editing food categories is the option to set a default serving size for that category, so that this serving size, and not the system-wide serving size that you set in the settings, is used to calculate the number of servings yielded by recipes in this category. This button allows you to import or export recipes. You can import or export recipes using the MealMaster or MasterCook formats. Among the different formats used for storing recipes, these two have been around the longest and are the most popular online. You can find hundreds of thousands of recipes online in these formats. If you want to export your recipes, you can choose to export all recipes or choose categories of recipes to export. Type in a file name and tap on one of the export buttons. You can transfer the exported file to your computer through iTunes file sharing or email it by tapping on Manage Files. You can import files that you've transferred to the app through iTunes file sharing, files that are attached to emails, or files that you find on a website in Safari. If you used iTunes, tap on this button to select the file and tap on the Import button. If the file is in Mail or Safari, tap on the file and tap on Open in Meal-O-Matic, and it should bring you to this screen where you tap Import to start. You can choose to scale the serving sizes to your defaults during import. It takes a few seconds to import each recipe, or roughly 5 minutes for every 100 recipes. The calendar's main uses, besides helping to plan your meals, are to track your nutrition over time and to update your shopping list for you. If any ingredients in the recipes you add are unstocked and not optional, they'll be added to the shopping list. If you remove the recipe from the calendar, its ingredients will also be removed from the shopping list. You navigate from one week to another by tapping on these buttons or swiping left and right. You can copy recipes from one week to another by tapping on this button, and you can have Meal-O-Matic fill up your calendar for you by using the Calendar Wizard. The Wizard adds recipes according to the rules you set. In this case, it will add one main dish or stew, one dessert, one side dish or salad or soup, and one breakfast to each day between the start and end dates set here. You can edit the rules by tapping them twice or on this button. When editing the rules, besides categories, you also set the number of servings you wish to make, which affects the quantities added to the shopping list, and the number of servings per person, which affects your nutritional statistics. Once you're done setting up the rules and dates, tap on Add Recipes to Calendar. If the wizard adds any recipes you don't want to make, you can have it suggest other recipes by tapping on the recipe, then on its name, then on the wand button. To show the recipe's details, tap on the I button. To see your average daily nutritional intake over a period of time, tap the Heart button and choose the period you want to see your statistics for. This screen is similar to the food and recipe nutrition detail pages, except that there's a graphic here showing which nutrients are not in the ranges specified in the settings. Tapping on a nutrient will bring up a list of recipes for that period which have the highest concentration of that nutrient. If you add recipes to the calendar while this screen is open, you'll need to tap on Recalculate Nutrition to see the changes. The shopping list should now be populated with ingredients that are needed by recipes in the calendar and not stocked. They're organized by food categories, or if you tap this button or swipe left, are organized by plan. Tap on the check marks or on these buttons to select all and deselect all. Then tap on the shopping bag to remove them from the shopping list and add them to the inventory. If you want to remove them from the shopping list without adding them to the inventory, tap the lightning button. To convert amounts into different units, tap on an item and select new units for it. The conversion is made automatically. If you want to learn more about the functions of each screen, tap the question button to bring up the help screen. That's it for the basic functions of Meal-O-Matic. Thanks for watching, and hope the app helps you eat healthier and makes cooking with recipes more convenient.